I like to call myself a junk collector. So basically, what is a junk collector? Someone who collects a bit of everything. I like to say, I think the two most favorite things for me in a watch are craft, the level of craft that is involved when you're making a watch, and the technical aspect. So I'd like to call it the cool factor, like constant force, special escapement, high-end finishing, like the use of silicone, and it's stuff like that that gets me really excited. This does mean a lot to me because this is the first watch I bought with my own money that I saved up in, I'd say, about 15 years. I got a call from the authorized retailer and said that they had the Lange and Sonne Zeitwerk, and I just lost myself, like I remember, like I left home so fast. At the age of 16, 17, I couldn't afford all these $5,000, $10,000 pieces on my own. I mean, obviously I did have a lot of support from my parents, specifically my mother. God rest her soul, she passed away 7 years ago. And this was actually the last piece she gave me before passing away. So obviously this has a very strong sentimental value. I mean, it's just a basic Jubilee date just. So some would call it a tacky diamond bezel, but to me it's so much more than that. Wearing this gives me so much pleasure. This is a Richard Lange Tourbillon pour le Mérite. This is the limited edition made in 100 pieces in platinum, with the tourbillon and the pivoting, jumping dial with a fusee chain constant force kind of system. It just really looks good to me for some reason. I mean, like, it's asymmetrical, I mean, like, everything's weird in terms of proportions. For some reason, I just find it very aesthetically pleasing. I found this watch in London, and I flew in just to pick up this watch. Picked it up and came back. I was the happiest guy alive. I remember testing it in London for accuracy, just to see, like, is it really accurate? And it was like spot on, like plus 0.2 seconds a day. It was ridiculous. That kind of accuracy you don't get these days. This still stands for a lot of things that I believe in today. It's a Panerai PAM 315. When you look at it, it's a $10,000 radio mirror with a GMT feature. And very discreetly, there's a little dot on a rotating kind of disc beneath the seconds hand. And that is the only thing that indicates that there's something special about this watch. And you turn it around and you have a tourbillon on the back. This is the ultimate understatement. This is one of those if you know, you know kind of pieces. Yeah, I mean, that's what being an enthusiast is all about, right? You should know these little things, like platinum Langes always have like silvered hands, whereas white gold ones have blued hands, like titanium Richard Milles are finished differently than white gold Richard Milles. It's these little things, you would never be able to tell just by a glance. So the Mécanique Gravée from Vacheron Constantin in platinum. This undeniably has a very high level of craft. Essentially, this is a naked movement with 2 hands and a minute track. A lot of people see this watch and say, oh, that's a really cool dial. And I'm like, look again, there is no dial. And they look again, they're like, oh my God, you can see the jewels, you can see the screws, you can see the winding stem, everything. So historically speaking, Vacheron has always had this kind of engraving technique. There are parts of this that are engraved as deep as 0.1 mm, 0.3 mm in some other places, 0.9 mm in other places. And that was just mind-boggling. I'm like, how do you have watchmakers that have the patience to go through all of that? You know, I mean, if they make a mistake, they've ruined it. I mean, you can't buff it out. You're engraving at a depth of 1 mm. If you slip, that's it. I mean, you need a new caliber. The engravers, the crafters, they don't particularly like working on a piece like this because they need to be in a very specific mood. They need to be very calm. They need to have had a very good start of the day, wake up on the right side of the bed. They have to be singing, "Oh, what a beautiful morning," "Oh, what a beautiful day," as soon as they wake up, you know? I mean, basically that's where they have to be in a state of mind. They don't have any quotas for making these, so they don't have any deadlines when it comes to a piece like this. They make these whenever they feel like. That kind of means something. You know, I mean, it looks good, it feels, maybe they, you know, that all that positive energy, you know, maybe that's why I can't take it off. You know, I strap it on and it just feels good, you know, all the time. And maybe subconsciously that's what I'm thinking of, because whoever made this was obviously in a fantastic mood, was very patient, was very resilient. I mean, like, did not make any mistakes. At that point I was sold. The real answer would always be this, and I'm wearing it right now. I'm wearing it my way, but just for the camera. This is the G-Shock Rangeman. This is everything I need in a watch. If Berthoud, Breguet, Daniels, and all of the greats, I mean, if they were still alive today, I think they could appreciate this, because this really is the pinnacle of horology to me. It gives you all the useful information. It's a full perpetual calendar. It's got a world time for like every major city that you'd ever visit. If I had to pick only a mechanical watch just to wear for the rest of my life, without a doubt, it would be the Steel Submariner, ceramic bezel with date. But when it really comes down to it, I'd rather wear a Rangeman or a basic sub. That's just it.